I'm sure that many of you have a regular exercise routine. And if I would hazard a guess, I imagine that that exercise routine centers on cardio work and strength training. And in my experience, most often neglected is an organized stretching routine. And I don't mean just those couple little stretches that you might do after your regular exercise session as a cool down. I'm talking about an organized stretch session that can stretch you from your head to your toes. Stretching for musicians is incredibly important because the sheer act of playing instruments creates imbalances in our bodies. And one of the most efficient ways to correct those imbalances is by stretching. And of course, we all realize that stretching increases our own flexibility. It opens up the muscles and the joints and the connective tissue that's throughout us and gives us a more supple and movable body. I'm convinced that if you cannot move well, every endeavor that you undertake, whether that's at the gym or at your instrument, may be compromised. So at this point, when you're watching this and before we head to the video, I want you to start moving, because one of the worst things that we can do is try to stretch cold muscles. So this doesn't have to be very strenuous. Just kind of walk around in place while you're listening or march in place. And it's also important to get your upper body moving. So kind of pump your arms or swing your arms back and forth. Anything to get the blood flowing just a little bit. So while you're doing that, I want to just give you a couple of fun facts about stretching. So fact number one, stretching can improve your concentration. So there was a pilot program done in corporations several years back. It was called Organizations in Movement. And during that program, employees were asked to incorporate short stretch sessions into their daily routine approximately every 30 minutes while they were in the office. At the end of this pilot program, about 2 months later, 42% of the employees indicated that they had increased concentration and focus while on the job, and they felt that their productivity had increased. Well, we all know that we are to take breaks during our practicing. So why not incorporate a couple of targeted stretches during those breaks and improve our own concentration, focus, and productivity? So fact number two, stretching done after cardio work and strength training has been shown to increase the effectiveness of that training by 19%. And if that's not enough incentive for you to get stretching, then consider that old adage, use it or lose it. And it's actually true, because if we limit our body's mobility in any way for any length of time, we simply become less mobile. So stretching will open up the joints and the connective tissue. But what it also does is it retrains the brain, because if we're tight, neurologically, our brain thinks that we should remain tight, or else we might injure ourselves if we move in a certain way. So we can retrain the brain as well as open up the joints and the muscles and the connective tissue, retrain the brain, and it will allow you to move in ways that you hadn't even thought were possible before.